Thank you, Brian and Abby, for your work. I also especially want to thank Rania Men from Engineering Capital Projects, who has joined us today and has been a great partner on this. Of course, the City Attorney's Office and all the city departments who have provided feedback on the draft policy. I have to admit, I've long seen the need for such a council policy. I think I remember being at City Hall 20 years ago trying to make a pitch, unsuccessful. A recent conversation with a project in my district being brought forth and fully funded with private dollars by a nonprofit really highlighted the need and some of the obstacles that they saw in processing their project, because it wasn't a private developer implementing conditions of approval. It wasn't a city-driven project, and so they ran into a little bit of headwinds. Fortunately, good folks at Development Services and other departments were very accommodating to work through and make sure that we did the right amount of oversight of this proposal that, again, will be fully funded with private dollars. As was mentioned, the city receives these offers on occasion. A policy clearly written can clarify the expectations both for city staff and for the proponents for these nonprofits and agencies. I feel like the council needs to work together to ensure that they are receiving prompt assistance and clear guidance on what the city needs to allow private parties to deliver public improvement. The newly created Parks Foundation is a good example that things, if there is private dollars that want to come in and do things that the city doesn't have the resources, we should make sure that we provide the proper amount of oversight, but we kind of facilitate that. For our city departments, the council, I believe, needs to empower them to negotiate individualized agreements while recognizing there may be circumstances where these improvements, however well-intentioned, do not make sense for the city. Projects suggested through this process may not have a citywide priority, may be small changes that improve the quality of life for residents or businesses, or maybe large projects that the community wants to fund and construct. And I say that because this is not about donations. The city has a project that's fully operating, doesn't have the funds. Somebody is willing just to make a donation that is handled under a separate policy. Each of these are unique situations that will require consideration of the multiple factors laid out in the draft council policy. As I mentioned, I referred to a project that actually has been a perfect example of how this can work very well. A community group that is going to fully fund both the construction, manage the construction, pay all the permits and fees going forward. But I also know there are instances where somebody wanted to do something, got frustrated, resistance of whatever nature, wasn't willing to take the time to work through the hurdles and just walked away. And the city missed an opportunity for some public improvements being built with either a agency or a nonprofit's dollars. So given the challenges we have and the lack of resources we have to do some of these projects going forward, this seems like a good opportunity to at least make sure that we have a clear policy that gives direction, again, both to the operation side as well as any proponents that might want to come forward.